Hi guys, hope you all are doing well. Before we begin today's chess discussion, I have a question for you all. Who here likes the King's Gambit?
Not me. I don't like King's Gambit.
Really? Why not?
It's just the openings that I don't like. So when someone who plays white tries King's Gambit, I usually also plays Gambit in answer. So Falk Bear counter Gambit.
I'm not one to speak. I don't like gambits either, and I'm still asking the question for the video's sake. But I personally like safer things like, the Italian game or the Ray Lopez. I'm not really a gambit kind of person.
I see. Okay, so maybe today let's let's watch a nice game in Falk Bear counter Gambit. So we'll see what happened. Okay,
Sure.
so e4, e5. Yeah, so if in this position white plays f4, it means that it's King's Gambit. And Falk Bear counter Gambit, yeah, it's the way to decline King's Gambit. So white has different moves. It's possible to capture the pawn on d5, but in the game we have a look at white played knight f3. After this, I think it's absolutely natural just to capture the pawn on e4, yeah, to attack the knight, and knight goes to e5. I think that black should continue development. So Tara, what ideas do you have? How would you play for black in this position?
Okay, so I'm going to take a look at the bishop. I see that it can go to d6. It's attacking the knight, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But I would go even further than that. I see bishop to c5. I think it's a potential move since I have an idea of moving the queen to h4, and then after that I would play queen to f2 checkmate. So yeah, I'll go with bishop c5.
Yeah, so bishop c5 happened in the game. I think this move also is against pawn to d4. Yeah, of course, if white would play pawn to d4, we always have en passant, but after bishop c5, move pawn to d4 is even not possible. We just capture this pawn. Yeah, so white just continues development. Yeah, we can do the same. So develop the king side first. Yeah, maybe to try to castle later. So knight f6, and in this position, white plays queen e2. Of course, the queen and the knight now are attacking the pawn on e4, so white just wants to capture it. But also white has a tricky plan. I think that the plan is a sacrifice of the knight on f7. Yeah, so let me just make a silly move which doesn't make any sense. So taking the pawn, and if the king captures, yeah, so white can play queen c4. I think this is the plan. So I think that black should try to avoid this. So Tara, what would you do for black in this position? How would you play?
So
Maybe you can take care about the king?
yeah, so when in doubt, I know that it's pretty good to castle, and so I'm just gonna try it. I'm gonna get my king safe, and then I'll avoid that tactic, so I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, so actually to castle in this position, it would be just the best plan to put the king in safe. And I think it would be too dangerous for white to capture the pawn on e4, because in the opening, it's very important to develop your pieces. The white king is still in the center. It can't castle in one move, right? So I think that black can just later to use this open file. The knight is pinned. Yes, the queen, the king, all these pieces are on e-file. So white would get into a trouble. That's why probably black should castle and shouldn't be afraid that white can capture this pawn. I think it's kind of like a poisoned pawn in this position. So yeah, Tara, you are right. Castle would be the best move, but in the game, Black played knight c6. It's maybe not the best solution. So Black made not the best move, but White made even a bigger mistake. So White decided still to continue the plan with sacrificing the knight. So knight takes f7 was played, but in this position, it's already a mistake. So White shouldn't do this. So Tara, what would you do for Black in this position? How would you play?
So I see that if I capture the knight, then we go back into the same tactic. The queen plays queen to c4, and then I'll lose my bishop. So I'm not going to play that just for the sake of the bishop.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try queen to e7.
So you move the queen away from the place where it can be captured, yeah? You play queen e7, you defend the pawn on e4, so now it doesn't make any sense for white to capture it. And also I think that you have a plan, yeah, maybe having the queen on the same file with the white king somehow could help us. In the game, white just accepts this rook sacrifice, so knight takes h8. Now, Tara, let's think how could black improve this position. So I think it's time to start an attack against the white king.
All right, so you know the saying, you meet fire with fire. So the white piece just captured our rook. Why not try knight to d4, attacking the queen, and also planning a potential fork?
Mhm. Okay, so knight d4, yeah, so you attack the queen, and the same time you want to have a fork on c2, yeah, and maybe to use position of the white king. Okay, so if white doesn't want to lose the queen, it has to move to d1, also to defend the pawn. Okay, let's see if in this position there is a way for black to make some problems for the white king. So what would you do for white in this position? How would you play?
Uh, do you mean black?
Yeah, sorry. How can black play?
Um, I would go for bishop g4, attacking the queen, because also the idea that if the queen can be distracted, then we can have a fork on c2. So
Mhm.
yeah, bishop to g4.
Okay, so I think that after bishop e2, maybe it's not so like obvious how to make problems for white. Maybe later white even would try to castle. So yeah, bishop g4 is maybe the first candidate move we should think about because it's an attacking move. Yeah, kind of like the queen is trapped, but still white can defend the queen. So let's think what else black can do in this position instead of playing bishop g4. So maybe you have even a better move.
Um, oh, I see knight to f3.
You want to put the knight to the place where it would be attacked by two white pieces, knight f3. Okay, so it's a check. What if I just capture the knight? What happens then?
Haha, you fell for my trap. I'll play pawn captures c3.
So pawn takes f3. Okay, so bishop goes to e2.
Okay, now wait for it. Pawn to f2, king to f1, and bishop to h3. Checkmate.
So it's mate. Yeah, finally the king is mated. So it's too dangerous for white to capture the knight. In the game, white played king e2. Okay, so what happens after king e2? Let's think.
Okay, so here I do not want to go back and play knight to d4. I'm going to try bishop to g4. My idea is that anywhere I move the knight, I'm going to make a discovered check. So if you play pawn to h3, then I would try knight to d4 check,
It's a
which
double
is,
check, by the way, yeah?
yeah.
So no time for taking the bishop.
And
Okay.
then you move your queen away, and then I'll capture your queen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. So of course this position is absolutely winning for black. That's why after bishop g4, white just resigned. So interesting game, just 10 moves and the game is over because like there is nothing white can do to save the position of the king or to save the material. So yeah, very nice game.
So I hope you enjoyed the position and the video. I don't know if your opinion changed on Gambits after watching it, since Black did get a winning position in the King's Gambit that White played. But for me, my opinion personally didn't change. I would still stick to the safer stuff, maybe one day. But for now, I'm just going to take a pause and try safer openings. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video to others. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
Bye.